So once you've got your roof torn off and the decking's inspected and you've repaired anything that you need to repair, it's time to start installing your roof system. But before you install your shingles, the first step is to apply an underlayment like this asphalt roofing felt. In this section, I'll be discussing why underlayments are important. I'll show you a variety of different products and how to install them. I consider a quality underlayment an essential part of a quality shingle installation. The underlayment serves several important functions in the roof system. First, it provides a primary layer of protection to the roof decking and the building below it in the event it rains before you get the shingles on. So you've got your roof torn off and you're going to put your felt paper down, maybe it rains, maybe you come back the next day, it's going to be first layer of defense. In new construction applications, obviously, this is of course going to be especially important because there were never any shingles or old roof on to begin with. Even if you're not worried about it raining into your structure, the underlayment will keep your decking material dry and prevent it from warping or swelling during the construction process. Most importantly, the underlayment is a secondary layer of protection against wind-driven rain or snow and ice that may get under some of the shingles. In the event of a minor leak, the underlayment is going to provide an important layer of protection. Think of it as a second roof under the shingles. In a minute, I'll show you where to use underlayments in particularly vulnerable areas to prevent damage and leaks from ice and snow. Underlayments also provide an important separation layer between the decking and the shingles. In some cases, wood pitch resins found in the decking can leach into and damage the underside of the shingles.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit subscribe so you can be a part of my channel. You can watch all my videos that cover complete stages of both shingle and metal roofing. There's tons more content coming out soon about all aspects of roofing, including skylights and trim and sheds and whatever you're interested in.
There are a variety of different underlayment products out there, and I'd like to explain briefly just a little bit about each type. There are three main categories of products out there, and they all serve different needs. First, you've got your typical asphalt felts, also called tar paper. These are the most common and inexpensive underlayments and are referred to as water resistant because while they do shed most water, they also absorb some amount of water. There are two main types of felt paper that you're going to find out there, 15-pound and 30-pound felt. Basically, these products are the same, but the 30-pound felt, as the name implies, is twice as thick with more asphalt per square foot, which makes it far stiffer than the 15-pound variety. Both products generally cost the same price per roll, but the 15-pound roll covers twice as much area as the 30-pound roll. You're going to get 400 square feet or 4 squares out of the 15-pound roll and 200 square feet or 2 squares out of the 30-pound roll. For the most part, here in the South, we go with the 15-pound felt and it works fine. And I could recommend that. Both types, both the 15 and the 30-pound felts, serve the same purpose. And there aren't too many times where I found that a thicker felt is going to help you out too much differently than the 15-pound felt. One area that the 30-pound felt does do better is when you're going to leave the paper on for a while, exposed to the elements, or there's going to be a good bit of foot traffic on the roof before you install the shingles. The 30-pound felt just holds up a lot better in both of these conditions because it's thicker, and it also tends to lay flatter when you roll it out on the deck as well. As a more durable product, I wouldn't discourage you from using it. Particularly on steeper roofs where traction is more important, the 30-pound felt is also far less likely to tear underfoot, which is definitely a safety issue. However, in all these circumstances I've just mentioned, a synthetic underlayment is going to be an even better choice for basically the same price or a little cheaper than the 30-pound felt, and I'd recommend going with the synthetics. We'll talk about that in a second. It's up to you which type to use, but I will say that nearly all of my work in the last decade has been with 15-pound felt, and the 15-pound felt has really served me well. The next category of underlayments we're going to talk about are known as waterproof underlayments. And like I said, the typical organic asphalt felts, 15 and 30-pound felts, do tend to absorb a little bit of moisture. These products are completely waterproof and are used in areas that need extra protection. While there are a variety of brand names for these products, such as Weather Watch and Winter Guard, I commonly refer to these products as Ice and Water Shield, which is a brand name. Typically, these products come in a roll that is 3 feet wide by 65 feet long, which gives you right at 200 square feet of coverage, or 2 squares per roll. So you're going to need to know that when you're ordering your materials. As you can tell, this is a completely different product than asphalt felt papers. It's much thicker, and it comes with a self-adhering sticky back. So it's basically got an adhesive on the back that will stick when you peel this release paper off. So it has a granular surface on it that's similar to the surface of shingles. The sticky back under the paper allows it to glue directly to clean decking surface, so it typically doesn't require nails to install. Because of its construction, these products are designed to seal around nails driven through them, and it therefore provides a much better protection against leaks than traditional felts do. So it's got kind of a thicker, sticky asphalt component in here that when you drive a nail through it, it kind of glues up around that nail and prevents any water from going through that. So due to the fact that it is designed not to absorb moisture, it will never wrinkle up like felts do when they get wet, and so it lays flat, leaving you with a better finished appearance underneath it. Ice and Water Shield is a great product. I know some roofers who do a lot of entire roofs that are covered in this product instead of traditional asphalt felts. So the third category of underlayments that we're going to discuss are called synthetic underlayments. These are all more recently developed products, and I'm not completely sold on them in general because there are a lot of different ones out there. A lot of them are new, and you never really know what kind of quality you're going to get with a new product. However, as the price of asphalt products go up, these materials are starting to look a little bit better in comparison. It's hard to make a generalization about synthetic underlayments as there are tons of different types out there. As you can see, they have kind of a plasticky feel, and I'd compare many of them to house wrap materials like Tyvek, if you're familiar with that. I've got two different brands here. They're both a little bit different, but same general principle. And these are both rather thick, heavy-duty synthetic underlayments. They do make thinner ones that are more comparable to 15-pound felt in their thickness. If you're interested in going with these products for some of the reasons I'm going to discuss in a second, I'd be careful which ones you choose and talk to the supplier about which brands they've worked with the longest to make sure that you're getting a high-quality product. As with any new material, there have been some products that came out and didn't really turn out to be as high quality as we suspected they were. So in general, these rolls can serve the exact same purpose as traditional 15 and 30-pound felts. They're not the same as Ice and Water Shield, but they have a few characteristics that make them stand out. For one thing, they're far more durable to tearing compared to felt paper, and some even have an added sort of sticky element in the surface, or this one's got this woven strand in it that make them particularly easy to walk on steep roofs. So this weave in here makes a very good amount of friction when you're standing on it, which is a big advantage. Due to the fact that they don't absorb any moisture like your asphalt felts do, they lay very flat and they don't wrinkle as much as felt. Also, and this is important, they're generally rated to stand up to exposure to sunlight far longer than asphalt felts. As a result, if you're going to leave this on your building for a while before getting the shingles on, like in a new construction situation where you dry it in and then you're finishing something else, you'll definitely want to use a product like this, as felt papers tend to wrinkle and go bad after even a week or two, or a heavy rain or two on 15-pound felt to make it wrinkle up really bad. And you really don't want to lay shingles over felt that's been exposed to the weather for very long. So new construction or tear-offs that are going to sit there for a little while, the synthetic felts are worth their weight for sure. So most of the synthetic felts are also far lighter than asphalt felt, and that's nice if you have to carry a bunch of these rolls up the ladder. Synthetic felts are generally, not always, but generally sold in 10 square rolls. So you also have to carry up far fewer rolls than felt, which are 2 and 4 square to the roll. And that's going to help you speed up your installation a little bit too. So the synthetic underlayments are a good choice when, one, the felt will be exposed to the elements for more than a few weeks, or on a steep roof where you appreciate the tear resistance and improved walkability of some of the products. And that's generally when we use the synthetics, is in those two circumstances. As we look at installing underlayments, I'm going to start with the Ice and Water Shield, as this is going to go on first. Before I go into the different locations for this product, I'm going to try and explain one of the main problems we're trying to solve by installing Ice and Water Shield. Ice damming is a phenomenon that occurs in areas on your roof where the warm, insulated areas of your roof meet the cold, uninsulated areas of your roof edges. Now, This problem typically only occurs when you have snow and ice on the roof for an extended period of time. Here in North Georgia, where I work, we do occasionally see some snow and ice, but it generally doesn't stick around very long enough to cause problems. In more than a decade of work, I've never seen an ice dam cause a leak here, so we generally don't install protection against it. However, if you're in an area of the country that sees regular snow, you simply must use this sort of protection against ice dams. Even if it only happens once every 10 years, an ice dam leak can pour significant amounts of water into your home, and there's really little you can do to stop that leak until it either warms up or it gets much colder and the water freezes again. So back to why ice dams form. In the case of your home, the areas above your attic are going to stay warmer than the areas around the perimeter of your roof that are basically outside your house, and they're going to be more or less the same temperature as the outside air. As the warm air above your attic works to melt some of the snow on your roof, that water runs down to the outside edge of your roof where it is much colder. Okay, so the water is moving down here, and once it hits this zone, it's much colder than the roof area up here, and it's going to begin to refreeze. As we know, when water freezes, it expands. That works to force the water back uphill around the edges of the shingles where it normally wouldn't go if it was just flowing down your roof in a normal rain. Now you've got this ice lodged up under your shingles, and when it does begin to warm up outside, that water is going to melt and leak down into your house in the soffit area. I want to add at this point that you can work to avoid ice dams by improving the insulation in your attic and making sure you have proper ventilation, which I cover in a separate section. Both of these steps, the insulation and the ventilation, are going to keep your attic cooler and help the premature thawing of the snow on the main part of your roof that causes ice dams. If you look at your roof in the winter, it should have an even layer of snow across both sides of the roof and not just be covered in snow around the edges. This even layer of snow is an indication that you have good ventilation and adequate attic insulation. So now that you understand ice dams, I'm going to explain how to prevent them with Ice and Water Shield. You'll want to apply this product all the way around the perimeter of the house at the lower parts of the eaves. It's not a bad idea to run it up the vertical gable ends, but most ice damming occurs around the lower edge where the water runs as it melts. So I've got this area illustrated here, starting from the outside of the house to 3 feet up the roof approximately. And this is the area that's really vulnerable to the ice refreezing and working its way back up underneath the shingles. All right, now we've got the drip edge on, we're ready to install our underlayment. First thing you want to make sure when you're putting your Ice and Water Shield down is that the deck is clean and free of debris. This is a self-adhered product, and so if you try to glue it down to a dirty deck or over old shingles or felt paper or something like that, it's not going to stick very well. So this is easy because our model's new, but get everything clean, tidied up, all the nails off and stuff like that. So you'll notice that on the back of the roll, it's got this 2 pieces of release paper. So let me hold this here. So it's split down the middle here. And this is going to come in handy when you're laying it out. So first thing you want to do is roll your felt out and cut it to length. If you've got a really long run, it might be helpful to do several short pieces. For example, here on the model, I've just cut a piece long enough to go up to the dormer here, and we can piece in the other sections. So just make sure that you've got it cut a little bit too long, and you can always trim it off later. So make sure that you leave enough to overlap the edges 6 inches if you're going to piece it in. Once you've got the piece laid in place and it's run straight with the edges of the roof here on the side, again, you can cut a little bit off later, you're ready to stick it down. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but I found the easiest way to do it is what we call the peel and flop method that involves taking the backing off of half of the sheet at a time. So if you're working alone and the piece wants to slip, you know, this roof's pretty steep, you might put a little nail or a staple or something in it to hold part of it in place while you're doing it. So we got it started here. We're going to roll this piece down and pull the release paper off like that, and then stick it down. Now, Don't worry, this paper is not extremely sticky, which helps you if you need to move it around or pick it back up. It's really heat activated, so it's not going to be terribly sticky when you start, but as you can see, now that we've got this laid down, it's sticky enough to hold to it to get started. And as you walk on it, as it heats up in the sun, it's going to stick down a lot better. So again, you can put a couple nails in it if you're worried about it coming up. So if it's very cold out especially, you might put a few nails in it to hold it in place. So once we got the top part down, we can go ahead and lick and pull this bottom part off. And there we go. As you can see, it's this real nice, heavy weight product that lays really flat really easily. And it's going to stick down. If you have any places that you need to, you're worried about it sticking, you can press it down or walk on it or whatever. But like I said, once it gets nice and warm and you nail all the shingles on, it's going to stick really well. In regards to the ice and water shield and also the felt that we're about to put on, these products are not rated to be exposed to sunlight. So you should never use these products in areas that aren't going to be later covered with another roofing material, such as flashing with a valley or with felt paper. It needs to be covered with shingles when it's done later. If you want to leave something like that open, there are similar products like this that are useful in these areas that are rated to be exposed to the elements. If you leave this stuff sitting out in the sun for too long, it's going to wear out really quickly. So now we talked about ice damming. We've got the ice and water shield applied down here at the eaves to protect against that. We also want to use the ice and water shield around any penetration such as this dormer, the pipes. We're going to show you later how to do that. We want to run the ice and water shield membrane up the side around the dormers. We also got it in the valleys here. If you've got skylights, you're definitely going to want it there, to run it there. It's really just backup that's going to go around anything that's leak prone. So anything coming out of your roof, you're definitely going to want to apply this around it. Also in the valleys. So keep in mind too that the model we're working with here is a little smaller obviously than your average roof. This looks a little different than it would on your roof. This is a 36-inch wide piece of membrane, and a regular valley would look a little smaller. All right, so now that we've got all the ice and water shield installed everywhere we want around the penetrations, we're ready to install the rest of the underlayments. Again, in this video, we're going to be using this 30-pound felt. And you can just roll the felt out starting at the bottom of the roof, the low point, and making sure that it laps at least 2 inches over the lower course and 6 inches on the side. So what's really nice about this ice and water shield and the felt as well is that there's this line here, and this is probably 6 inches. It's probably a little bit more than you need to, but this will give you a good guide as far as how far down you want to cover over it. So when you're applying the felt, I like to use these sort of plastic cap nails. The 1-inch long variety work fine. You can also use staples in a hammer tacker like this. This is maybe a little quicker, and a lot of our guys like to use the hammer tacker. They move really quick, but keep in mind that the felt paper is not going to be held down nearly as well as it would be with staples if you're using this. So the hammer tacker probably for you is going to be a good way to get it started, hold it in place, and then come back with the plastic cap nails and secure it down with that. So these nails are also going to be essential if you're going to leave the underlayment on for any length of time. The staples only going to hold it on a very short period of time. If you're going to have to come back a couple days or a week later, definitely want to use the plastic cap nails. Manufacturer guidelines calls for using a nail every 6 inches in the lap and 2 staggered rows 1 foot apart in the field. So I'll note too that many of the synthetic underlayments will have marks that are already printed on them where you're supposed to put the nails. So we're going to go ahead and install the underlayment now. One thing that I want you to make sure of, and we'll cover these sort of details a little more in the section on running your shingles in the valleys, but you never want to put any nails close to the center of the valley. So out here is fine, over here is fine, but you always want to keep your nails or staples very far away from the middle of the valley. So in this case, we're just going to run the felt over to right in here because we've already got the valley covered with the ice and water shield. we got everything nailed down, and I just want to make the point that if you're going to vent your ridge and you've got that cut open already, recommend go ahead and rolling the felt over the top and closing up the ridge temporarily. That way, just if it rains or anything like that, or any debris will be kept from getting in there, and then you can just come back and cut it open real easily right before you put your ridge vent on later. And that about does it for underlayments. We're going to move on to the next section and show you about starter shingles.
If you'd like the complete series for yourself on how to do shingle or metal roofing, you can go to my website, RoofingIntelligence.com, and there you can get a membership to either stream or you can get a DVD in the mail that'll show you how to do all the steps for either of those types of roofing. Enjoy this video. Thanks so much for watching.